Hello and welcome. I am Margot Guerrero from Earth Mineral Arts on Instagram and Facebook. Today's video is an all skills level introduction to the pigment library and creating your own. Fun stuff that we're going to do here, and it's all about having an understanding of emotional healing in watercolor practices. And with that thought in mind, I am first going to show you some various watercolor sets that you can choose from that you may have at home. I have this wonderful Sargent Art watercolor set that I picked up at one of the dollar stores recently, and I just love it. It's very gouache, but you can get very nice watercolor effect out of it. And so I'll be demonstrating a little bit with that. And then I also have Yasutomo's wonderful set here of micas. And they just have great colors. They paint well, and they also look good on colored papers. So that'll be coming up. And then I also have a small set of Qor, Q-O-R, which is really a very nice commercial company. Their colors are just really great. They are just that perfect for the transparent effect, although this one is actually their Earth Mineral set, which I really like, but the transparency thing that goes into it is really still very nice. So, and you can see the tin there on the back. I like to squeeze the tubes out into my double full pans and just, have them ready to go. And then I also have a set of my own, which I don't really show online, but they're orderable through custom on Etsy. And these are all of my semi-precious with plant dye that I had made up to about 2 years ago. So I'll demonstrate a little bit with that too. And then let's see. So next really is what you may have for watercolor paper. I have an abundance of paper scraps from St. Armand, Paper Canal, in various sizes. And I deckled to like 6-inch squares and 8-inch and other sizes just because I like to and to be, intuitive with paper selections for the quality of an energy imprint style when painting. So I'll show what I did here. This is actually just an old 6-inch square pad that I had, and I used it all up, and then I had a bunch of scraps laying around, so I just went ahead and made some squares. But I'm also going to show you that I have a bunch of old cards that I've made over the years that are cut or, I'm using paper corners and just having some fun with them. And you can do the same thing. You don't even have to do the squares if you don't want to. This square, though, that I'll demo with, I put some masking tape on from the dollar store also. I really like their masking tape because it still covers very well when you need an edge, and it comes off without too much trouble, especially on St. Armand because their paper is very heavy cotton and it can lint up a little bit if you use other heavy removable tapes. And so, but this one's generally been okay for me. So I think what I'll do is go ahead and demo with that first so I can set aside a little painting while it's drying. And I'm just going to give some thought to antique prayer cards, holy cards, just, you know, what was precious and about the archetypes of various places in the world. And one parallel I have found through the years is the beauty of using yellow ochre. Now, I didn't really do anything special beyond, you know, I just wanted to leave a little light at the center and have it darker at the edges. And we'll see how it looks towards the end as it dries. And then we can maybe see if there's still enough time to add in some details. But I'll show you some of my other cards. So these I did over the last 4, maybe 6 years. This one is done on some chalk paint black, and I just thought, well, I really have to try that out. You know, it's just so different, and I really liked it. I didn't even paint the face in there. It just came out that way. I was a little surprised. But that's how all of these really are, you know, when you just love the color and you love its, you know, how the water and the mineral came together to become what it did, then, you know, like this one is solid, and this is ultramarine blue, which I sell in the shop, and it's on a natural cardstock from St. Armando. So I just have been using their stuff for many years now. And this one's a burnt sienna, which I first made about 3 years ago, and then I didn't know if I was going to offer it in the shop. So there's just things about some of my colors that are like that. And a lot of my play comes from just paint making itself, because I make paint for other people. It gives me the opportunity to look at and see what's happening within my own color expression as I create for others. And that can be a really nice process for many people to embrace, you know, when they're making their own paint. And still you're a collector of many other colors, you know, in the marketplace. This one looks like there's a guy standing in a silhouette, and he's got a white halo going around him, and there's a little being down at the bottom that's talking to him. Could have been a dog. It's very sweet. I just never know how some of these things really turn out. This one, if you can see it really well, has like a heart shape at the very center. I wasn't even trying to paint it, and it just came out that way. This is indigo, of course, and it has a face, a laughing face in the center, and it's like a little pool of rippling laughter, I think. And this one has a bit more textural effect happening within it, and rather than the wet on wet process, this one's more of a wet on dry and then dry on wet kind of effect. This one is actually watercolor canvas that I've mounted on a card, and then I mounted another piece of paper on top of that, just to, you know, to be observant of, you know, different textural effects, as well as how well watercolor saturates surface. On this one, I was more interested in natural bleed, but then I thought, no, I'm just gonna have the effect of a natural bleed, but maybe they're just torn pieces of paint. And it was just a creative thought. And these are things that you can embrace for yourself in your own work, you know, when you're looking at, okay, well, what kind of other techniques do I want to use? Wet on wet is what everybody gets started in first. And then we work slowly at developing other finer techniques so that we can begin to create shape. This one actually has the look of an angel in the middle. I really enjoyed that one. And it has Prussian blue around the edge. So it has a bit of a, I don't know if it's coming out, but the pink is a chatoyance from the commercial process of making Prussian blue. This one I really love. This is from some Mayan indigo. And I had put a lot of salt on it. And this is a piece of Yupo. And the Yupo just really just allows everything to pool and craze and allow for like vibration to just create amazing shapes. And I wasn't even really painting. This was just after a paint making session. This one, I'm always thinking about seeds. I love the whole idea of collecting seeds and what kind of mysteries they hold, and how wonderful life is that we have this incredible amount of things that come to us through the grocery store. This one was a bear that came out by accident, and I've just learned that you just can't throw things away. You have to really enjoy it. So that's all of those. I'll show you this piece too. This I've had for many years. The first one is Tibetan painting of some Sakali dancers. I hope it can be seen well. And it's just very sweet. You know, the fineness of the brush to draw in the details is just really evident. And in this one here is Ganesh. And it's in a Nepali style, which I copied from a Tanka painting. And I just really enjoyed that process. And I think you can see, as I wave it in the light, you can see the golden paint that I used to create his symbolic emblems of spirit. So let's see how that. This is drying pretty well, but not quite well enough just yet. So I'll go ahead and show you the next part. So you can create your own splash 'em on paintings, or you can review your own stack of amazing color scraps that you really just haven't spent any time with, and you can pull them out and look at, well, what's really in there, and maybe even pull out a magnifying glass and see what's interesting. So next is the book. This is my how-to version of making just an easy loose leaf binder book. so that you can just add things into it as you go and be able to have a way also later on to be able to stitch it together. But for now, I'm just going to show you how this was put together. I have this giant paper clip I got from the art supply store here. It's a ACO stainless steel. I think they use these on really large sketch pads, so they're known for that. So on here, I have 2 beads, a bone pipe is what they call it, and then this one is just another Alaskan bone bead. And so I've just added them on with some linen string and a linen ribbon, and it's just a way to help tie it together to hold the things in so that anything in there that's loose won't fall out. So here on the outside I have these lovely round, natural round paper canals, which I really love. And I'm going to pull this out. In the folders, what you will find is, or what you want to be able to collect together, are things that allow you to play with ease. And so you might have a few extra strips of color that you can actually just practice doing small, I don't know, there's a bunch of ways to really review it. There are, doing techniques. There's just seeing what the gradation is like. You know, you may just be really enjoying working with one color group. You might want to think about, well, what different brushes are allowing you the kind of latitude that in your own imagination you want to be able to depict or portray. So in here, I keep glacine envelopes, tracing paper, and more paper. And in each section then, I keep a development of that going so that eventually that can all be stitched down, and I'll eventually show a Patreon post where I show the finished book. One of the great highlights these days, I believe, is printables. Printables have the ability to give you, how shall I say, just a greater way to really review, well, do I really want to use that? Can I cut this up? How do I want to use it in my art? You know, they can be added onto your file folders. They can be put in the pockets. You can create, or just in the folders themselves. But, you know, like in my case, I don't mind just going ahead and tearing it and getting things moving so that I can really begin to develop, well, these are really just my holders for the artwork, but then I want the folders themselves to be special. So I'll lay that in here. And on this one, I don't have the greatest color copier, and I really don't mind because I like for things to have an offset difference. So this is a bit lighter than the original. But then if I want to, I could even do some of the really fun and wonderful jelly printing techniques that I've seen happening now. And there's ways to use watercolor or ink with an acrylic that you just blend into it on a jelly plate. And I'll try to show something like that later on. Here, a face naturally came out, which you can see on the original also. And that can be cut out. That can just be one element used in a design. And who knows what you have in your collection of everything incredible. And like here, I don't even know how that happened. There's like a watermark. Get up closer. And it has the appearance of one, but it's really maybe just the paper underneath the paint. Looks like it's got 1874. I didn't write anything in there. So it's just that bit of magical something going on with our paper makers. So you can tear the edges of your files, decal them. I used a large rule. I have a plaid rule that I've used for a number of years. I'll show you that. And this allowed me to get this nice rippling ocean wave tear, which I think you can see right there. So that's fun. And then I'll show you the origami. This is the best part, in my opinion. It's origami. My kids, when they were young, well, one day my son came home from school. He was so excited. He had a big brown paper bag full of origami shapes that he had made at school for his math class, which was just so nice. And so we sat at the dinner table reviewing all of his beautiful creations, and he gave me one. But mine was only about this big. It was, just very small. And it was a little origami wallet. And so I loved it so much that I had to make one that was really big and giant. And I even have others that I've made through the years that hold paints or little pieces of paper and tiny books. It's really a lot of fun. So I'm going to take this apart and show you how the lines work. And later, after you've seen this, I will make a post showing all of the correct lines so that you can do it at any size dimension that you want to. It's actually just very simple. It's amazing that it can hold anything with how big it is. And, or even, not that it's so big, but just because it's a very simple fold. And this is St. Armand paper too. And I like it because this one's really nice and heavy, and it folds, and it's very heavy cotton. So I'm just going to set that aside now. And go over. Yeah, I think this could look really nice with a bit of a red line. I'm going to use my Sargent watercolors. See what I can pull up as a really nice effect of gouache. The effect of gouache, and something that we all love and appreciate, being that, oh, there's going to be splashes. I'm definitely a splasher. And I don't necessarily follow with, things don't have to always be so perfect. Even color-wise, especially if it's still damp. And the paper can give you the sense of, what's mysterious about, the light really appearing through the color. I think I'm going to try another color here too. gotten a lot more free, believing that, well, I have all these colors in my collection. I really need to take advantage of them. I always want to work with my favorites. And while purple is a favorite, it isn't a color I necessarily want to use in something that's really just an experiment, you know, to see how it will dry and what effect it will have, especially if I decide, well, maybe I should hang it up on the wall and allow myself to walk past it every day and to see what kind of emotions that begin to present themselves to my mind, my unconscious mind. You know, I might be busy doing like 100 things and working, and there's movement from the color. So this is just a beginning. And I'm really grateful for everyone coming by to watch my video and to join my page. I am just so excited really over all of it. And I'm really looking forward to doing this every week now. I have enough years of having done restoration that I'm just really looking forward to how the color got used in various cultures and why they loved portraying whatever it was that they portrayed. So I'll be talking more about that as time goes by. And I hope that you enjoyed this video and we'll come back. Thank you so much.